And we're back. This is Michael Sullivan. Michael,
morning, Mike.
Good to have you.
How are you?
First of all, you are running for Board of Education in Fannin County. And which post is that?
It's Steve Stanley's current seat.
Okay. Now, last night you spoke, and the reason I wanted you to come by because I wanted somebody else to discuss what took place last night, considering the new resolution that's in the actual ordinance that's in the Fannin County Schools, the weapons policy. What took place last night?
Well, Brian, it was a second reading and the adoption of the policy itself. Now, just because this policy has been passed doesn't mean employees, not necessarily teachers, are going to start packing heat in the schools. Does not mean that. This means that they can actually move forward in creating and developing this policy further. Okay, they'll take all summer, I'm sure, and they've been working with Sheriff Kirby on this to really make sure that they do what is needed and is necessary for proper training, proper vetting. Of course, it's voluntary. No one is going to be pressured. No one's going to be forced or make it a requirement that they carry. And it's, as they said, drastic times call for drastic measures. All right? Anything should be on the board. Anything should be on the table to discuss regarding the safety of our kids. And so last night there were several people who were, there were some people for it, there were some people against it. And I know the board really takes all that into consideration. Even at the end, it was mentioned that nothing said at the meeting was something new to them. So they've heard a lot of that input already, and they've really, Mr. DeWeese, he even said, this is a decision that was not taken lightly. And I have faith in our board and in Dr. Gwatney to do the right thing in developing this policy to make sure it is done appropriately.
Well, I was following social media this morning about 5 o'clock, and some of the people I know in the Atlanta area were commenting, and they were taking actually a person that's with a media group in Atlanta that I know that sent me a message and asked me what did happen, and I guess the Atlanta media, some of them had already painted that the impression that parents, your teachers may have a gun this morning in their desk drawer. No. Furthest thing from the truth.
Exactly.
Not happening.
No, not at all. This is a step for them to actually develop this policy further. They had to have the policy in place before they can really get the details. Again, they still have to work on training and the vetting and what types of weapons and how much ammunition and where they're going to be stored, etc. I've heard from a source that initially, if it goes into place, when it happens, it'll be in a secure box in like an office or a secure location that the kids will not even have access to on a daily basis.
Well, there's several teachers, and just, I know it's redundant, but first of all, it's volunteer. No teacher is going to be required. It's not like part of the teaching package that you have C hallway, so you are
you're the designated person for this. Right.
That's not going to be the case.
No.
And then 2, the complete training and certification will go through the sheriff's office.
Correct.
And it'll be anonymous.
Yes.
People won't know who it is. Are you satisfied? I mean, you are a candidate for Board of Education, but as a citizen, are you satisfied with the way Dr. Gwatney presented it, opened up last night, listened, and how it all went and took place?
I'm mostly satisfied. I stated in my letter that I read to the board that I was fully on board with the policy if they took 1 or 2 steps. One, to take a little bit more time, because it was only on the board's table for a month. Yes, they may have been discussing it further than that, we don't know. But I wanted them to take more time with the public discussion. I mean, there was an open discussion with the transgender bathroom issue, and that involved 1 child in the school system. This involves all children in the school system, so why not give that opportunity, at least to give the impression that the public is being heard and listened to.
Mike, have they imposed any kind of time constraints on this? They say we want this in place by X, or is it we want this in place when it's done correctly?
When it's done correctly. Again, this is the policy last night was just so that they can continue to move forward on its development. There is no timetable on this.
Well, I talked to the sheriff last night after the meeting. I called Sheriff Kirby, and he said, "Look," he said, "I can come on and give a statement." He said, "If you want me to come on tomorrow and give a statement, I'll be glad to, but I can't tell you anything new because we had to put this in place." And he said, "We're in no big hurry. Now we're going to set up the program and start putting all the wheels in motion. So we don't have a timetable to start." Now, I'm not giving a timetable, but my impression is we're 2 weeks away from graduation.
Correct.
And then we've got, about 8-9 weeks before school goes, or 9 weeks or whatever back. So I think in that area, we may start the next school year. That might be why they want to do it now. So
Correct.
they have the summer.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And that's
You guys have been following this a little bit closer than I have. Who's going to be driving the initiative to get this package complete of the guidelines? Will it be sheriff driven, or will it be board of education driven?
I mean, I don't mean to answer jump on it, but my understanding, this will thoroughly go through the sheriff's office.
So he's the one driving the initiative.
Yes, and
with the blessing of the Board of Education.
Yeah, because that's what they gave him. But let me say this: I think this is important too. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but whoever volunteers to do this and becomes a part of the program, they have to go through a yearly background check, right?
Correct.
They will have to. So if you say, well, what happens if down the road, they still have a yearly background check, and the board reserves the right, not just the sheriff, the board reserves the right to remove them from the program at any time, correct?
Correct.
So the board retained the right, and I thought those are good points that, they could decide, because there were some comments made about, well, what if you get a teacher that starts having some kind of problem or whatever. The board did not lose their right to remove them at any time. Say, you're no longer part of the program, done, and also the sheriff.
Exactly.
Agree?
I totally agree, and I had even made a comment on that one. Just as I in the Air Force relied on my non-commissioned officers to monitor the behavior and outside influences on my airmen, and report that up to me to say, hey, this one's going through a divorce, hey, this one's losing custody of his child, etc. I would expect our principals and counselors to keep track of their teachers, if it's the teachers who are caring, but whoever in the school system, and report that information up, saying, hey, this is something that we might need to consider. So that's
I don't want to say quote, because we did this Facebook Live, and it is on Fetcher News Facebook page. I got last night when the public comments started, I got the whole thing and the vote. I put it all together. And so I don't want to say quote. I will say the only public comment that I think bothered me was in the reference that somebody said something down the line of like, so you're going to train teachers to shoot our kids? And I was like, no, that one, there was, that one I didn't. But you know what? Okay, here's the thing with the people. Here's the thing with the people. Here's the thing with the people that opposed it, and here's what I got thinking. So you got about 5 people that go up, and they're in favor of it. Okay, they're in favor of it. So on, so forth. Our children's safety is first and foremost. Okay, and then you have 5 that go up that are not in favor of it. But they start their comments with, I agree with them. We have to do whatever we need to keep our kids safe. I agree with them that, but I can't agree with doing this. And so I'm thinking with all of them, okay, who are you looking for to defend your kid? If you can't agree with them to this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a follow-on question there. there's a follow-on. You know, the response should have been, no, we're not training our teachers to shoot our children. We're training our teachers to protect our children. I mean, they're
giving
just
them the
looking
tools
at,
to do so,
yeah,
other than just their bodies.
right. Looking at just a total 180-degree perception of where they need to be.
Well, it's in place now, and hey, it's in place, and maybe by the first of the year. Michael, I appreciate you coming in. Tell us again, what post are you running for?
It's the Board of Education seat currently held by Steve Stanley.
All right. Anything else on last night's meeting you'd like to comment on?
There were many other things that talked about the austerity cuts, that it's been removed. QBE is fully funded, and they want to move the teachers back up to the 6% that it was at prior to 2010 when they had to make all these cuts. So, and Blue Ridge Elementary, they got an award as well. So there are many positive things that go on at these Board of Education meetings that people will look at just the negative or just the one thing. So I recommend anyone go out to a Board of Education meeting and look and see your tax dollars at work.
Appreciate it, Michael. Appreciate it, Rick. And right now we're going to take a break, and when we come back, it is time for the star of the show, our pet of the week from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. Rena is with us, and I hear we have 2 special guests today. All right, it's going to be double
whammy.
Double trouble.
Double trouble.
Right after these messages. Take us a break, line.